Joining me on the line as he does every Friday on the show, he is from Cinemablend.com. His name is Mike Reyes, and he joins me now. Hello, good sir. How are you today?
Doing as okay as I can be. How about yourself?
It's been a day. It's been a couple. It's been a crazy 24 hours.
Yeah, especially you know what? I go to bed last night and I'm riding on the high of they released the first single from the Batman, and which you can listen to on Spotify right now. It's the first track from Michael Giacchino's score. It's amazing. And then I wake up this morning and the first headline I see is that Meatloaf died.
Yeah, the guy was, 74? So he's getting up there. But yeah, definitely it wasn't one that you were ready for.
No, and it was apparently from COVID.
Oh, was it? That's too bad.
Yeah. TMZ was reporting that he was supposed to have done a business dinner earlier this week for a show he was working on, but the dinner was canceled because he became seriously ill with COVID. Sources tell us that conditions quickly became critical.
That's too bad. I know we're going to be paying tribute to him here coming up on the show. So to Meatloaf, we wish you nothing but the best and the great beyond, sir. He was in more movies than people kind of know, right?
Yeah, I mean, the more notable, not more notable, but the more popular ones that people would know about was, of course, he was Eddie in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yep.
And his name was Robert Paulson in David Fincher's Fight Club.
Yep. He was also in, there was one that was kind of surprising that I was like, oh, wow, Meatloaf was in that?
He was in Spice World.
Yeah, that's more believable. What was it? Not Tenacious D.
Oh, yeah, he was in Pick a Destiny.
Yep, Spice World. Leap of Faith.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like Meatloaf was just this guy who every now and then would kind of dip his toe into acting, and sometimes you got something like Rocky Horror or Fight Club, and then sometimes you got something like Blood Rain.
Yeah.
But the man was never boring in his work, never boring in any craft, and just, I mean, you look at that discography. And if there was anything I would sum his career up with, it's just that he went for it every single time and was up for anything. He'll be missed.
Absolutely. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line to talk about, movies this week, but more. Oh, that was the one, Blood Rain.
Yeah.
That was the one I was like, he was in Blood Rain?
Yeah. And then as if that wasn't sad enough, then we heard that Louie Anderson passed this week as well.
Yep. Louie Anderson passes earlier today. I believe that was after fighting cancer for a while, correct?
Yeah, he was being treated for blood cancer late last week. And from what I read on the CNN report, he had passed on Friday, but a lot of outlets are reporting that he passed today, so I'm not sure if that's going to be cleared up but I mean, you look at film and TV, Louie Anderson was just this legend. I mean, the guy gets his start on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, as many, young comics did, and then goes to be in movies like Coming to America. And did you know he was supposed to be in Perfect Strangers?
Was he really?
He was supposed to play Mark Lynn Baker's role, the normal cousin.
Oh, really?
Bronson Pinto. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. No, what's funny is you bring up The Tonight Show, and I watched his first appearance on it earlier today, and his first joke was just so amazingly well-timed. And he was talking about, you have to excuse me, I'm in between meals right now.
No!
And it was just so well done,
Yeah, and then I didn't even know that. I knew he hosted Family Feud, but I didn't know that he was one of the few hosts that actually got to play the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was one of an only small number of individuals who have both hosted and been a contestant, according to Wikipedia.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
He did Celebrity Family Feud, but yeah, I mean, there's nothing but beautiful outpourings of stories for him. Henry Winkler was talking about him, Howie Mandel, Trayvon Free, who is a comedy writer who's done The Daily Show with Trevor Noah and Full Frontal with Samantha Bee. Also won an Oscar for the short film Two Distant Strangers. Apparently he was a comedian that Louie actually, took care of. And, he talked about how he would put them up in rooms when they were doing gigs and were short on money. And just, it's rare when you can actually be that much of a great act, but also be like a personally class act.
My boss, he at one of the radio stations that he worked at, Louie was like a regular in their building. So he saw him a lot, and he said he was just the nicest, warmest guy you could ever imagine.
Yeah, and I know it's not a once in a lifetime sort of thing, but it kind of sounds like these things are so rare.
Yeah.
Or even like when Bob Saget passed, he the stories that came out about him were wonderful.
Yeah. So it's been a rough start to 2022 there, Mike.
Yeah, but you know what? I think we're about to slip into some better topics because it can't just be a downer. We can pay tribute, but talents like Louie and Meatloaf, they would not want fans to stay in the doldrums. They'd want people to remember them well.
Well, I think it was Meatloaf's family that said you got to keep rocking or something. I saw a article earlier today. So to both those guys, we wish you nothing but the best and the great beyond. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com is on the line with me right now as we do dive into the movie part of this show. Are there any movies out this week?
There are, I believe there are a couple, but there's nothing really, there's no big tentpoles, if that's what you're asking. There's nothing out this week that's like a massive blockbuster that has been delayed since COVID. Although, fun story, there is a movie coming out this week that has been delayed for about a decade.
A decade?
A decade. It's called The King's Daughter. And basically, this movie was made in, let's see, I want to pull up the stats just to be sure. But if I remember correctly, this film was made shorter than a decade. It was actually made in 2014, so close to a decade. And this movie stars Pierce Brosnan as a king who's King Louis XV, to be specific. His quest for immortality leads him to capture and steal a mermaid's life force, a move that is further complicated by his illegitimate daughter's discovery of the creature. And you've got Julie Andrews narrating, you've got William Hurt in this movie. And then what's really interesting is, if I know my stories correctly, Kaya Scodelario and Benjamin Walker met on this movie, fell in love, and then got married. And, we most recently saw Kaya Scodelario in the new Resident Evil movie as Claire Redfield. So it's really interesting to see this finally somehow getting to theaters, and I don't know why it took so long.
Isn't it one of those things when something keeps getting delayed, there's a reason for it?
Well, okay, here's that,
usually it's not bad is what I'm trying to, or it's not good.
Well, according to the good old wiki, the movie was 3 weeks before this movie was supposed to come out. It's supposed to be a Paramount movie. They yank it from the release schedule. No official reasoning, although some had said that it was to complete special effects.
Okay.
I guess it took them a couple of years to really. Maybe they pulled the Stanley Kubrick, James Cameron method, where it took a couple of years to really get the gist of a real living mermaid on screen.
Oh boy. It's a movie, and we all know it.
We're going to have to see. It is currently sitting at a 28 on Rotten Tomatoes. I know I have not personally seen. 31%. Oh. But I know I have not personally seen it. There was definitely not a mention of any. No one reached out to me. There was no mention of press screenings or anything. So this feels like one of those movies where they kind of wanted to swim away.
How? You've been sitting on that one for a few minutes, haven't you?
No, I just thought of that.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line. How did they not release this during COVID where they were, oh, yeah, we'll just throw this out and put it on streaming. It'll be fine. Why now?
I know, especially because this was sold, apparently, I think this was sold at market during COVID. You would think this would be a very easy, Pierce Brosnan's in it, Kaya Scodelario and Benjamin Walker are in it. This is something that you could sell on streaming, no problem.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line right now. All right, let's go over to the world of movie news and a few other things. You brought up Batman, and I wanted to say something about that. The runtime of that movie got released.
Yeah.
God, that thing's going to be like 3 hours long.
Did you sit through Avengers Endgame in a theater?
Yeah, but that was...
Then I don't want to hear it.
No. Listen to me for a second. For Avengers Endgame, I mean, that had a lot of stock and a lot of, street cred going into it.
That had a lot of you could cut.
It did, but still, it had enough cred where it's like, okay, I'm willing to give Avengers 3 hours. Like this Batman movie, we can't make that 2.5.
I'm so sorry that Robert Pattinson playing a more detective-style Batman with Matt Reeves, the man who made compelling films with the Planet of the Apes franchise, and a cast that includes Andy Serkis as God Alfred, Paul Dano as the Riddler, and Peter Skarsgård as the district attorney Gil Colson isn't enough for you for 3 hours. I am so sorry.
Seriously, you're like, when you saw it, you weren't like kind of surprised that they're doing 3 hours?
First of all, it's 247 without credits, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
or it might be 247 with credits, but whatever the case, I'm happy. This was amazing. I will sit for 3 hours to watch this.
I'm not saying I won't go sit for 3 hours and watch this thing, but for like right out of the gate and all of that, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a methodical detective story that's going to have, or it looks like a methodical detective story that's going to have all these different pieces to assemble. And I would rather someone take their time and really soak in the atmosphere than just rush it. Especially in the online discourse where some people are saying movies should not be longer than an hour and a half. And meanwhile, I just want to ask people, how long did you binge insert Netflix show here?
Yeah, but without getting mad at me, usually...
I'm never mad at you.
No, but it's... brevity is genius. And I'm not saying that movies need to be in an hour and a half always, and I don't think they need to be a set time. But... how many times have we talked about movies that it's like, if this would have been a half hour shorter, it would have been a great movie?
But at the same time, I defer to the quote that my management loves to pull up from Roger Ebert: no good movie is too long and no bad movie is too short.
Yeah.
Whoever you've got in the cockpit is supposed to make those decisions and know them. And I trust Matt Reeves to pace it.
Granted. Okay, yeah, granted. But how many times have we come across a movie that we thought is going to be awesome and we go, you know what, if it would have been a half hour shorter or even 15 minutes shorter, it would have been perfect. We've had, Mike, in 2 years, we've had this discussion a lot of times.
No, I definitely grant you that, but I don't know if we've really had that discussion predominantly with movies that we knew were going to be, like that had this good of a pedigree. Like,
yeah.
It looked cool. But we may have still been on the fence about things. But I do get your point, though. It's the length of a film is something that is very subjective. And, hey, I remember talking to Matthew Vaughn about The King's Man.
Yeah.
And he said he cut about a good hour from that film. And on one hand, I would love to see what that hour would add. But at the same time, it does fly at the rate that it is.
And listen, like I said, I'm not trying to beat this down or anything, but
oh yeah, no, I was just puffing up for radio here. Come on,
I was trying to look tough for my friends, make my wife like me a little more. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line right now talking about movies. Okay, so yeah, listen, am I willing to go watch it? Yes. Do I think that I'm going to come out of it and go, you know what, they could cut 45 minutes out of this movie? I'm leaning that way. If I was going to put my mark on it right now, that's what I would do.
Well, it will definitely be interesting to revisit this in March.
Okay.
It's currently set to open on March 4th. So I am excited to have this conversation with you because if it could have stood to remove 45 minutes, then yeah, I will be glad for us to, oh boy, I'll be glad for us to talk about this, but some new breaking news. Hey, B-sox, were you looking forward to seeing Mission Impossible 7 this fall?
Nope.
Stepping on the joke. Okay, anyway, I was looking forward to it. And now, Mission Impossible.
I'm trying not to laugh, but it was really funny. Like, no, I don't care about that.
That was a perfect evil villain laugh. I love it. From the chest.
Here. I'm going to give you one. I'm going to try and do it. I don't know if it'll work, but you ready?
Yeah.
See if you can name this laugh.
Is that the Joker?
No.
Krusty the Clown?
Yep.
Okay, I should have went with that first because that did sound like Krusty's giggle.
That one's hard to do. I have to push all of the air out of my lungs and then laugh.
Oh yeah, like and it's like even then. you really need to like narrow your throat and just it's acting, guys. But anyway.
Okay, breaking news.
Mission Impossible 7 was supposed to be out in September, this September.
Okay.
They've now pushed it to next July, and Mission Impossible 8 has now been pushed to the next June.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that, because as of right now, Top Gun Maverick has not been moved. I would assume that's going to be the next brick to fall, because if you don't think that your Mission Impossible movie is safe enough for July, or what may be happening is they move that as a preemptive thing, and then they put Top Gun in July.
If Mission Impossible 7 and 8 are delayed, is it because they're like a continuation of the story?
Well, it is. Like 7 and 8 are supposed to be
like one big movie.
Yeah, they were going to be filmed back to back, and now there's a slight delay because 7's in the can. 8 is what they're currently working on. Like, I think Christopher McQuarrie said he's working on the script again, and they were already prepping for it. They already delayed that because production was going to be delayed due to the fact that they were taking into account Tom Cruise is going to go, pump everyone up for Maverick. But yeah, they're saying the date for Maverick is not expected to move, coming out of the Hollywood Reporter. But yeah, 7 and 8 got pushed.
Real quick, I pulled up Top Gun Maverick on Wikipedia, and I was just looking at the thing for it. John Hamm's in it, right?
Yeah.
Did you see what his name is?
Is it Cyclone?
Vice Admiral Cyclone.
How does he not use that to get into Star Wars?
Oh, God. All right. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line.
That's Vice Admiral Cyclone to you.
What's the dumbest name we can give this guy? Vice Admiral Cyclone? Perfect.
You never know why people pick their call signs. They're very personal things. I remember, I think the cast got to pick out their own call signs. It's been a long time because just before COVID hit, I was actually invited to a cocktail party by Paramount to meet the younger members of the cast from Maverick. And like, that was one of the things I had to ask them. It's like, did you guys get to pick your call signs? And I think they did, but I don't remember. It's been so long. It's almost 2 years.
I kind of feel like they'd be like, no, we didn't.
Like, I think there was pre-approved names that they could choose from, but you know what? I'll still wait for Mission Impossible. I hate that we have to.
Did you ever see the call sign thing with Will Ferrell on Saturday Night Live?
No. I think we're going to have to discuss this off air.
All I'm going to tell you is clown penis.
On that note.
Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joining me on the line. Is there anything else this week, or does that pretty much cover it?
I think that's pretty much it. We got an Ice Age movie next week.
We got a new Peacemaker today.
We did. Oh, okay. No, well, yesterday.
Okay, yesterday, whatever.
Yeah, no, those are out on Thursday. I am religious about my Peacemaker watching now, because that 4 episodes into what I think is supposed to be an 8-episode run has not missed a beat. The action and the comedy and even just the emotion that, like, the drama that they dig into with this. Pure James Gunn.
Oh, James Gunn liked a tweet of mine.
Yeah.
I forgot
about that.
Yeah.
He is a really friendly guy on Twitter.
He is. He's great.
He is just stand up.
That was my second interaction. Okay, for everybody playing along at home, a buddy of mine and I, we do a side podcast, and from that side podcast account, I just tweeted out Pumped Up Kicks. They did a cover of it for the show. And it was a joke in one of the episodes, and it's a really good cover of the song. And I just put up the YouTube link, and I said, really dug this, and Peacemaker, James Gunn does it again, because he picks just the best music for stuff. And and James Gunn liked the tweet, and I'm like, oh my God. Believe it or not, though, that's my second interaction with James Gunn on Twitter.
Oh, what's your first?
You remember the lost Easter egg in Guardians that nobody can find?
Oh, right. I remember that.
I sent a theory to him, and he just wrote back, nope. I'm like, okay, I've had a connection with James Gunn. That's all that really matters here.
I believe I had one in the past too. I just forget what it was. But he really is just one of those people that, despite some people harping on his past tweet for stuff that, you know, you could debate how bad those previous tweets were, and the fact that he apologized for it. He just really is one of those creators that is hooked into social media and loves to interact with people.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely.
James Gunn, come on the show, man.
Oh, please come on the show, James Gunn. We would love to just, you know, even if it's 5 minutes or an hour, we're ready to talk everything. Would love to talk about Slither with you, but, you know, whatever comes up.
I've never seen Slither.
Oh, you need to see Slither.
There's a few parts of the trailer that I'm like, they give me the heebie-jeebies, and I can't do it.
Oh yeah, there's definitely heebie-jeebie energy, but this is when he first teamed up with Nathan Fillion, and I don't know if that was his first time with Michael Rooker too, but it's like Nathan Fillion, Michael Rooker, and Elizabeth Banks just going for it in this.
I love Nathan Fillion.
Oh, then you would love this. He's the sheriff of the town that's under siege by those mutant slugs.
Oh, Nathan Fillion and James Gunn. Imagine being trapped in an elevator with those two.
Would you really be trapped at that point?
They would be, because I'd be the one. It'd be like, you remember that one time you were in a movie? It was cool.
That was cool. But then at the same time, even if you just literally did that, they would probably pick up on it and then just start throwing it back at you. And the only restriction would be oxygen and lack of sustenance.
And my luck, I'd have to poop.
That's what climbing onto the roof of the car is for. And they open that car up like 5 hours later. You guys are all like almost passed out, you know, on the brink of being hurt, but not hurt. And then just the cleanup. The cleanup.
There you go. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joins me every Friday on the show to talk about movies. I think we'll wrap it there. Mike, you have yourself a great weekend, okay?
You too, man.
Bye.
Bye.